going to be awesome. And so everyone, if you have a note card, if you don't have a note card, raise your hand and it'll be awesome. Lily will bring you a note card. Everyone have one? Everyone have one? All right, cool. So on this note card, while you are listening to his awesome speech, you write down what you're feeling, what you get out of it, what you've learned, how you feel you've now connected to Coach Foley, all of those things. And then, so that he can read and see what you got out of it, and so that we can see if this lecture is successful, because we know it is. So tell us what. So without further ado, also, we're going to be passing a sign-in sheet, so please sign in. So here is Coach Foley talking about the tradition of Oakton. All right.
I don't know about awesome speech, I'm just going to tell some stories. All right? Yeah. I'll just tell stories for 40 minutes. No, the way this kind of came about is I have Elizabeth in my advisory, and we kind of talks about, what Oakton was like in the 70s and 80s. And then we had some talks about teacher-student relationships through the years. So she thought it would be a good idea maybe to get my opinion, since I've been here for so long. So what I'll do is I'll tell you a little bit of history of Oakton and how I've been coming to games since 1978. And I've been teaching here for 25 years, off and on for 25 years. And then give you a little perspective of what teacher relationships have done for me and what Oakton's done for me. All right, so 1978, I was in 5th grade. My brother was a senior. My brother went to high school here. So that's about the time my dad was like, come on, we're going to Oakton to watch a basketball game. Come on, we're going to Oakton to watch a football game. So that's how it all started for me, a long time ago. And the things, after all those years, the things that I've seen, Coach Hutton's back there too. He's been here a number of years too, and he's seen almost as much as I have. But back in 1978, the school opened in 67. So many times were different. Homecoming, back in 1978, we did a homecoming. And they still had the homecoming court sit in the back of cars and they'd go around the track. That was the homecoming. So I'm sitting at that one story here. I remember I'm sitting there with my dad. It's like 1979. And these homecoming cars were sitting in the end zone. And we're sitting there and all of a sudden these guys popped out of the homecoming cars. Butt naked. Streakers. So they go out and they run into the huddle, and these guys have no clothes on, they have masks on, and they run out into the huddle, and then they run all the way down and jump the fence. So the next day in school, on Monday in school, it was just like the movie Grease. If anyone has the whereabouts of the knowledge of who the streakers were, please report. There was like a $100 reward. So anyway, so then I came to Oakton, class of 86. Our slogan was cool guys and classy chicks. We're the class of 86. Our school slogan. I don't even think it happens anymore. So that through the years, that's one thing that I've noticed is some of the cool things like that kind of disappeared. I mean, people wearing leather jackets. That was the big thing back then. You get your leather jacket, you wear it around school all proud. Leather sweaters back in the 70s, that was a big thing. Some of those traditions have gone away. And that's a little bit disappointing that they've gone away. Pep rallies used to be a big deal here. They'd be outside in the stadium, they'd call your name, you come running out. That stuff's kind of disappeared. But my best friends are still the guys that I went to Oakton with. Those are the guys I have the best relationships with. It seems like in college, yeah, you make strong relationships, but kind of everyone just kind of goes a separate way. So my best friends to this day are the guys that I went to Oakton with. And we still sit around. We sit around and they want to know what Oakton's like now. They go, hey, are they still doing this? Are they still doing that? I go, no, we don't do that anymore. But we just tell stories constantly of what Oakton was like back then. What else? Okay. Some other things back in the 80s. One thing, I don't know if this was a good thing or a bad thing, probably a bad thing, but the drinking age in DC was still 18. So what do you think that group, that was the last group that it got changed. So I was grandfathered in. So seniors who were 18 at Oakton, what do you think they could do on weekends? Go to Georgetown. And it was perfectly legal for that to happen. And that was a good thing and a bad thing. Another thing was, I did some research, but I'm not sure. I think my group was the first to graduate in the Patriot Center. My year, 1986, was the first group to graduate there. And it's been there ever since. So what do you think it was like before that? Where'd you graduate from? On the football field. Or in the gym. So they would send a letter out. If it rains, you're only limited to 2 parents. So how do you think that went along with some parents? Not real happy. Your grandparents come in from out of town and say, oh, I'm sorry, but you can't watch your grandchild graduate. You got to step in the gym. So, I mean, the Patriot Center, ever since 1986, I mean, they crank those things out 3 a day, 3 weeks. That's how they do it. All right, so I was a student here, graduated in 86. I went to Bridgewater College. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. You know, I played football. So I go, maybe I'll do this teaching thing. I mean, I had some people here that had an influence on me. Maybe that's what I want to do. So I graduated, and I just happened to come up to the football coach. I was here. I said, hey, I'd like to help coach football. And he says, so are you certified to teach? I'm like, yeah, I got all my stuff in. So boom, right there. I got into Oakton. And I taught 1 class for the entire year. I only had 1 class. So it was the 7th period. It was the last period of the day. So that was a dream world. Slept till 10, 11 o'clock, slept late, and came to Oakton, taught 1 class. So, oh, this is easy. And then the next year I taught 2 classes. And then I had to teach 2 at Judge Stewart High School. So I split. And then it took me 3 years to get in to Oakton. Which is kind of, we've talked about this before, that today's kids in college seem like they want to start out and boom, start out making $85,000, top of the chart. You know, people like me and Coach Shepard, we had to put the time in back then. That's the way it was back then. But Coach Herb was his name. He, at the time, I mean, I'm probably just like you guys are. There's teachers that you sit around and you go, oh man, he's mean. I don't like him. He doesn't like me. He's mean. And I tell you what, this coach, we were terrified. We were absolutely terrified. He was like a big guy. He played college football. He'd go in the weight room and just crank out the weights, and we're little freshmen watching him go, oh my God, he's going to kill us. He was so hard and so tough and made practices so hard that, I mean, no one really liked him. But you know what that did for me? You know what word I'm looking for? I may not have liked him, but what did he mean to me? I respect him. I respect him. And that's a huge thing. You may not like somebody, you may not like your teachers, but you need to respect them. Okay? And just the things I learned from him, I remember one time before a game, the music's blasting in the locker room, and he came in, and it was that song Cocaine by Eric Clapton, classic rock. And he came in and just started screaming, I never want to hear that song again. I never. And we're sitting there up against the locker, just terrified. There's a song Cocaine, which means, yeah, do cocaine, do cocaine. And just a simple thing like that, I mean, I've never forgotten that. That was 33 years ago. I've never forgotten that. Another coach, a guy named Al Fish, was my driver's ed teacher. And driver's ed back then was a little different than it is now too. Unfortunately, they just kind of put a movie on, and the teachers would sit out in the hallway and drink coffee and just watch the movie. That's the way it was back then. Even PE, when I started teaching here, Al Fish was a PE teacher, and he goes, Dave, come over here, let me show you how you teach PE at Oakton here in the springtime. I'm like, where are we going? He goes, come over here. And he took me up in the bleachers, and we just sat back and watched the kids play softball. He goes, this is how we do it. I'm like, oh my. And I was a beginning teacher, and that wasn't a very good influence on me. But he was the type of guy, he wasn't the screamer. I kind of like to think that I'm kind of like who he is. He would just kind of sit back and just make little comments. Like he would, hey Foley, I'd come over there and go, hey, are you the one who put the Save the Whales bumper sticker on my car? And he was a heavy guy. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, someone took a Save the Whales bumper sticker. I'm like, no, it wasn't me. And just little things like that. And that's what I think maybe is we're kind of missing in this teacher-student relationship is I mean, teachers are, obviously they're trying to educate you, but at the same time, you've got to try to make it fun and behind the scenes knowledgeable, if you know what I'm doing. All right? It's not always X's and O's. There was another coach here named Coach Hall, who was the baseball coach, and they named the baseball field out of. He was here for 30 years, and he was the one-liners guy. So even to this day, so with my buddies sitting around, everyone's always doing imitations of Coach Hall. But he, hold on a second. No, he would call you over, same thing. You know how the Jewish holidays, they change names sometimes on Saturday? So you'd be all nervous. I remember being like a little freshman, little sophomore, and he'd go, "Hey, Foley, come over here." I'm over there standing there, he goes, "Hey, you ready for the game on Friday?" "Yeah, Coach, I'll be ready." "No, really, you ready for the game?" "Yeah, Coach, I'll be ready." "Well, you'll be the only one because the game's on Saturday." And he'd go over, everybody laughing. Like if you had a goatee, he'd go, "Hey, Foley, come over here. We're not going over to West Springfield looking like the Three Musketeers. You need to shave that off your face." And he made everybody shave. There were no facial hair allowed on his baseball team. We had a guy on the team, like a heavy-set guy, and he'd go, "Hey, you try to steal second base today?" He's like, "Coach, I don't know if I can do that." He goes, "I bet if I put a cheeseburger out there on second base, you can steal it." And just, that's the way teachers could talk to students back then. It was a whole different world. Imagine saying that to a student today. You can't do it. You can't do it. But there's been just some other teachers that come to mind. The band teacher here for a long time was who was the band teacher here for a long time? Miss Felton back then. Imagine that. No backpacks. You didn't carry your backpack around. You had your books. You went to your locker after every period. I'd say 3/4 of the people in here don't even know where your hall locker is. You don't use it, right? You're carrying 80-pound backpacks around. We used to go, and you would meet every period. There was no block scheduling, so you had every class every day. So after class, you went to your locker and you got your books for your next class. And you went to class. That's the way it was back then. Different now. Hats. Couldn't wear hats back then. Or, I mean, you could wear hats back then. That rule kind of seems like it's kind of changed. So you got to have them. Another cool thing, I don't think if you guys remember, Cougar News. They used to do a thing called Cougar News on Fridays, and it was through the AV department or whatever. And they do the pledge and everything, but they also show like highlights. And it was a cool thing. It was a production, just like the news. There would be 2 people at a desk. Cougar News, and I don't know why we really got rid of that. I think it was hard to find somebody to run it. That's the problem why we got rid of it. But that was another cool thing. A couple other cool. Here's something that we did back then. I think I told you guys this. Like we could never do nowadays. Is we played this game called Assassin, and you pay $5 to a school-sponsored game, and you pay $5 and you got a gun. Like one of those lick 'em, stick 'em things that shot stuck on the wall, and you got somebody's name. So your job was to track that person down and shoot them with the gun. And once you shot them, then you took their name. It was like an elimination game. So here you are, a senior, you get this name, so you had to research who the person was and find out what class they were in and hide in the hallway. And then jump out at them, and then that was a game, a school-sponsored game. Can you imagine that?
I can't believe you play that now.
You were issued a plastic gun.
I mean, drama plays that, but you do it by jumping on people's backs. You don't
Get a
shoot
gun.
them, but that would be so much more fun.
Can you imagine that?
Oh no, why did they go through
I
that?
mean, I'm afraid to do archery. I mean, they let us do archery now, but I'm afraid to do that. I don't know if I would teach archery, but I mean, we taught it back in the day, but I don't know if I would do it now. Just the nervousness. I mean, I can't explain how nervous I was teaching it. Because one time I looked around and the kid's doing this. One kid, was pointing at the school, and they were real arrows with points. I was thinking I was going to get turned around and get shot in the back of the head. Octagon Club. All those things back in the day are still, what's the announcement they always make for Octagon? Don't be square, be octagon. It's an announcement they still do.
Don't be square, be octagon.
Yeah, they still do it to this day. So that's been going on a long time. Senior pranks. You heard about senior pranks? Hopefully we don't go through that this year. There's been some good ones here through the years. There's been some smart ones that were not affecting, not dangerous or destructive. One of the best ones I heard is the first day of school when your seniors passed out flyers to all the freshmen. On the first day of school, there's an important freshman class meeting in the auditorium at like 9 a.m. And everybody must attend, it's mandatory. So they're handing them out to all the freshmen. And they, like, half of them showed up. They're sitting in the auditorium waiting for this meeting to start. So that was a good one. Another good one is the seniors, they all brought alarm clocks in and scheduled them to go off at the same time in the lockers. So that main hallway there, all the clocks going off at the same time. That was a good one. Way back, a long time ago, supposedly they snuck up on the roof of the school and they put a Jeep together, one of those army Jeeps. They assembled it on top of the school building. So that was a good one. Then there's been some, I think our class, we just stole a bunch of tires from like a place and we put them on the flagpole. A bunch of tires. Harmless. But there's been some ones that caused like damage and stuff though. Baby oil on the floor and the steps. That was a bad one. Kids were coming out, falling down, trying to get up and falling in. Mice, that was good. Like class of 93, put 93 mice out in the main intersection. Chickens, supposedly chickens. And then you hear about people that bring like out in the country, like the pigs, you ever heard that? They put the numbers on them, like 1, 2, 4, 5. So they get 4, but then, where's 3? Has anyone seen 3? That was a prank.
Again.
All right. I was saving this till the end. We'll do it here in a second. But I wrote a quote down that she wrote on the board. And I actually wrote it down. Can't believe I said something like this, but I wrote it down here. Leave Oakton not just being book smart, but with friendships, school spirit, and a social life. Does that make sense, Steve? Is that a good quote? So what Oakton's done for me is more than just got me here. I mean, I think I've had a pretty good life here. Think about, ever since I was in 6th grade, I've pretty much been associated with Oakton. And I have friends that, I can't believe you're still there. I can't believe, I can't believe it. Well, I can't believe it either, but I still keep coming every day. I'm still here. And I think it's been a good life for me. I tried to stop coaching football. I didn't coach this year. Miserable. I was miserable. So I think I'm coaching football again. I took 1 year off and now I'm coaching again. School fight song. Do you know we have a school fight song?
Yes.
Do you know the history around the school fight song?
No.
Well, we used to have this boring poem that they put in the program. No one knew what it was, and there was no music to it. I think it was like 1995 or something. Some girl in the band rewrote the fight song, and we stole the music from Ohio State. Yeah, we stole the theme from we stole their fight song music, and she wrote it to that, Ohio State. But talking about traditions, that was a tradition that needs to come back too. I would teach it in driver's ed, but the band would be required to learn the words of the fight song. But when we'd score a touchdown, the student body up there would be singing the fight song. And then after the game, when we won, the players would go over to the stands that are painted. And that's another good tradition, where the kids come all dressed up in the same color and their faces painted. And they'd sing the fight song. And I think we're getting away from it a little bit. I think we need to get that back. Don't you think we need to get that back? So I think you should know your school fight song. So 10 years, 5 years from now, when you're sitting in the dorm room and at Ohio State, you're watching the, wait a minute, I know the word, no, I'll sing our fight song. So.
Can you sing it for us?
No, I am going to sing it for you. We're going to learn it.
Nice.
We're going to learn it. Right now. It's a requirement. We're going to learn the school fight song.
Yes.
All right, here's how we're going to do it. All right, it's all good. It's, who's that approaching quickly from across the field? It's the mighty Oakton Cougars. No, we will not yield. Go fight with Oakton High School cheering song. And we're singing our victory song. Our golden Cougars will be fighting the proud and strong. That is our fight song.
Yeah.
Well, it's much better when we have the music, too. Oh, obviously we don't have the music.
Elizabeth, hum it.
So I'll pretend like I'm a band and walking around the halls of the school singing. All right, are we ready?
Absolutely.
What's the first word? Who. All right, here we go. Everybody, ready? Who
is that approaching quickly from across the field? It's the mighty Oakton Cougars. No, we will not yield. No fighting. Oakton High School cheering us on, and we're singing our victory song. Our golden Cougars will be fighting us proud and strong.
That's fight songs. Isn't that a great tradition?
I said that
Coach, don't they still play like the songs that football games like
They play the tune.
They still shoot the cannon off?
Yeah, they still do. The cannon's stacking up.
So everyone's kind of sitting around, all of a sudden that thing goes off. All right, questions? Questions? Did you learn anything? Somebody ask me a question. Yep.
Beyond getting our student body to learn the fight song, I'm totally 100% with you. What else would you like to see us bring back? What is so important that you think we're really missing as part of our school pride, school culture?
Miami.
No, I think getting the faculty more going to games. I don't think enough faculty. I mean, I know it's tough. I mean, I tell the students I'm going to go to their games, but after being here all day and going home, you don't want to come back to it. You don't want to come back to it. But I think that's one, is getting teachers bring back. I'd love to have Cougar News come back too. I think that's a big thing. Yeah?
So what tips do you have to get this going? How can they bring it back? What can they do?
I don't know. Administration, athletics. But I think a lot of students still go to games, and it's great that they get dressed up and they have white out and black and yellow. They have those days. Maybe just get more faculty there. More faculty. I just think we've gone down just a tad. I think we need to get back up school spirit wise. Does anyone have any suggestions? How can we do it? How can we get school spirit really back up? Is it more pep rallies?
Yes.
Let's see, this pep rallies have been.
More dances.
They don't really know what I mean. All right. Thanks for coming.